Good morning, survivors, and happy Saturday! Today I have a rather interesting topic for you. It's about the narcissistic stare. Anybody ever experienced that? We're going to talk about it. Alright, so let's get started. But first, I think we should all have a sip of coffee just to get ourselves going. This cup comes from my house, but it's one we gave my husband for Father's Day a few years ago. It's in the collection, huh? Alright, you got your coffee? Are you ready to go? Let's do this. Ever notice how when you look at a narcissist, they've got these really intense eyes? And you might even tell people, oh, those were the eyes that attracted me in the first place. Yep, for sure. But did you ever notice how as the relationship became increasingly toxic, the eyes became increasingly staring? And it's almost like you're dealing with a predator. When you first meet a narcissist, a lot of times you think, oh, I could get lost in those eyes, and you kind of do, right? Right. But then as, like I said, the relationship becomes increasingly toxic, the eyes that you once thought were full of love and possibility and excitement turn out to be dead inside. And then you start to see the dead, predatory stare. Ever have a narcissist stare at you like that? Sometimes they do it when they want your attention because you're busy doing something that you might enjoy or just have to get done, and they'll sit across the room and look at you, staring. It's creepy. Do you think the eyes are the window to the soul like a lot of people think? If you do think so, do you know that they're more fallible than you think? People think it's funny when I tell them this, but I always tell people, hey, I can tell what you're thinking. How can I tell what somebody's thinking by looking at their face, right? Has nothing to do with their eyes, because look, eyes are just eyes, okay? But what I tell them is, hey, I look at your mouth. I do. I look right at a person's mouth. And there are subtle things that people do with their mouths that they can't hide. It's the way they hold them. It's the way they, you know, like if somebody's lying, they might tighten up their lips, or they might even literally put their hand over their mouth. Legit. There are certain telltale body language signs that work far better than eyes, but we'll talk about that in another video. Hey, if you want me to talk about that in another video, leave me a comment on that so I can do that if you want to know about body language and reading the truth about people. The thing about the eyes is that while they're not entirely devoid of information, they do, especially when the message conveyed is inconsistent with the rest of your facial expression, they do provide information, okay? So if you're smiling here, but you're not smiling in your eyes, see how crazy I look? Right. But if I'm frowning and my eyes are just frowny, or let me see if I can do it. Never mind. I'm not going to sit here and make faces for y'all, but the point is, when you're dealing with a narcissist, their eyes, if you really learn to look at them, don't often match the rest of their expression. The part about this is that initially this might actually attract us to that person a little better than you would think, because people say things like, oh, it's like an animalistic stare. And initially you think, oh, that means they're really attracted to me, or they're really into me, or whatever. Later you realize it really is kind of animalistic. Some people like to call narcissists demons. I don't really know what I think about that, but the concept makes sense. Combine that intense stare that is completely devoid of emotion, and combine that with the predatory reptilian vibe they give off, right? Combine that with the deadness of the eyes. Combine that with the abuse you've gotten, and what do you have? You have a very predatory stare. It's intense, relentless. It seems to preclude the destruction of you as his or her victim or target. Women who have been victimized by narcissists have actually reported this stare more often, but men have also done it, and it's almost like they're trying to get your energy away from you. How dare you not pay attention tonight? You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes the stare happens when you're doing something that I don't like. Like if you are talking to someone of the opposite sex, even if it's absolutely innocent, you'll see them across the room giving you the evil face. Kind of an energy F word, because it's like they're directing all of their intensity and energy at you through their eyes. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm being funny right now, but the truth is, it's really like that. People say it's very disconcerting. I personally have felt that it was both intrusive and disconcerting because it literally will stop you. And as an empath, of course, they're looking for someone who can feel a stare from across the room. And you know, we do, don't we? We'll invade your personal space by either a sudden intrusion or intimidating, like stares, which some people think like women will confuse with sexuality. Like I said, the animalisticness of it all. But even men have been reported to do this. It's not just a female thing, you guys. Men will think that a female narcissist crazy stare is directly a sexual thing at first. And that's why we find it attractive, both men and women, in the beginning, because we don't understand what's really behind it. Beginning of a relationship like this, the gazing will appear to be sexual for most people because it's during the love bombing phase, and so it's more like, oh, you're so cute, la la la. But when, like I said, as the relationship progresses and gets more toxic, it's more like, and then it's not so cute, is it? It's intense eye contact. It's prolonged eye contact. It is piercing. It is uncomfortable staring. It is beyond the norm of social acceptability, acceptableness, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So it's a penetrating gaze. It's predatory. It might feel sexual if you don't know what you're looking at. And I think that's why we get so confused, because we go, it's so sweet that he just wants to look at me all the time, blah, blah, blah. Or she, or, you know, you might wake up and find him staring at you while you sleep. And at the beginning, that seems so adorable and sweet and kind and like, oh my God, he must really love me, or she must really love me. And then you later realize that, oh my God, they were watching me while I was sleeping. It's creepy because now you know that person is unhealthy, and that most people don't stare at other adults sleeping, at least not for long periods of time. Between you and me, I've watched my children sleep, especially as babies, but even as they've gotten older here and there, I go on and I still check on them every night before I go to sleep because I'm a nerd. I'm okay with it. But I wouldn't stand over them and stare at them for hours at this point, because God, could you imagine if they woke up? Yeah, that wouldn't be good. By the way, with a stare, they often won't blink. At least not when you can see it. People describe the narcissistic stare as their eyes being too wide and as though they're surprised looking. Like, I've seen it that way too. Usually the rest of the face, you know, might sometimes, depending on where the stare is happening. If the stare is happening in public, the rest of the face might be like this, but then the eyes are like this. And then if it's happening in a private setting, like say if you were reading a book and your narcissist was sitting next to you or across from you, and then they don't even try to hide the expression on their face. They, you know, sorry, I made faces again. But anyway, you get the idea, huh? Obviously not every narcissist does the narcissistic stare, but it is reported so often that I thought it was worth talking about. And, you know, not everyone associates it with a narcissist, but it's, like I said, it's piercing, it's painful, it's like reptilian, it feels animalistic, it feels like it's base. Does that make sense? It's something, it's animalistic. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's not good. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So some people say that the narcissist will look right through you, like you're not even there. I've seen that. Again, sometimes they think it's about paying attention. You know, people who are victims, we believe that, you know, they're paying a lot of attention in the love bombing phase. Oh, he's really listening, or she's really listening to everything I'm saying. This is amazing. Who listens to me? not for long. And, you know, once you're in the relationship, like I said, they stare at you in order to control you. The withering glare is meant to just scare you into submission. You feel me? So understand that that stare is one way they manipulate you. So don't let it intimidate you anymore if you're still dealing with it. And just stare right back at them. Give it a try. See what happens. About to wrap up for now so I can get this thing popped up for you guys to watch. I have a couple of announcements. Yesterday I announced a new online course that you can take through YouTube here. I'm giving away my book free until tomorrow at booksangieWrote.com. It's the book called The Rest is Still Unwritten. And I did a video on how to download that if you're interested. And also, I am in the process of getting ready to launch a new exciting project that I think you'll love. So stay tuned. I'll see you guys later today or tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Happy Saturday. And don't forget to come see me tomorrow morning for Self-Love Sunday. All right. Thank you for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And thanks for letting me be a part of yours. It means so much to me.